I need somebody help, not just anybody help. You know I need someone help.
This is what they mean by apropos. I'm Kevin Price. You're listening to The Price of Business. You know, and every once in a while, people need help, and unfortunately, it's of a legal nature. And we're very grateful to be able to spend some time with Chris Corso, who's always bringing interesting topics and information for us. He's with the Corso, C-O-R-S-O, Law Group.com, and a regular contributor right here on The Price of Business. Chris, good to see you.
You too, always.
Always glad to see you. Talk a little bit about your firm, and then you got a very interesting, Fifth Amendment case that I think people should be aware of.
Yeah, I think it is. You know, the firm, we're a criminal law firm. We handle a lot of different types of cases, anywhere from DWI up to, felony work. We're here in Houston, and, we're in Arizona. That's where we began. You know, we always talk about the approach that we have about representing the person and not the client. These are people. So, that's what we're here to do, and we really love the area right now.
Well, we're glad you're here, and we're glad that you're making a difference in your clients' lives, and and really promoting civil liberties. And again, people. It seems like one party likes one civil liberty more than the other civil liberty. There's 10 Bill of Rights. All of them, in my opinion, are equally important. You need all of them to protect the other ones. If any of them are weak, all of them are vulnerable. And so let's talk about one that I think is crucial, the Fifth Amendment.
Yeah, it really is. And, this is one...
And start with what it is, by the way.
Well, the Fifth Amendment protects us from, self-incrimination. So, you're being interrogated or somebody's asking you some questions about... It could be a completely unrelated matter that has nothing to do with you, but your answers may open yourself up to liability, criminal liability. And this allows you to basically stay silent and let them know, hey, look, everybody hears that. I'm pleading the Fifth.
Pleading the Fifth.
Right, pleading the Fifth. So
and this case you're going to talk about today is, I think, it's something that really caught the media's attention and the public's attention. Talk about that.
Yeah, Shkreli. It's, this is a case where Mont Shkreli, he was before the Congressional Committee talking about this, a drug diaphragm that was going to be, that gets very boring, but they were going to be asking him questions about the pricing of this drug and why it was going up, why it was so dramatically increased, and he gave an answer of excitement talking about, $1,700 a bottle going up to $75,000, which would yield about $375 million bump. So they wanted to know, what was why the increase? What was happening that this drug would be increased by such a dramatic degree? And he pled the Fifth on that. He took the Fifth and didn't want to answer that question. And so that's basically the crux of what happened there.
Mm-hmm.
And so now a lot of questions have been raised. Should that even apply in that situation?
Yeah, and part of the problem is that all of a sudden, I think we've been so heavily influenced by reality TV that we kind of forget what the purpose of the law is and what's happening here. People were obsessed with the fact that he was smug, that he was arrogant. No one disputes this. I would say he wouldn't even dispute it. I almost think he's got some kind of mental type thing, going where he has a complete disconnect of what's happening consequentially, and certainly no filter, where he's openly insulting people who are holding him accountable and could affect his life adversely. Who cares about that? The question is whether or not, how the rule of law applies, in this situation.
Yeah, I mean it applies to everybody. So
yeah, even jerks.
No matter who, especially jerks. I think
especially it's just like we're talking about First Amendment speech. It's applied specifically for hate speech.
Right.
The rest of speech really doesn't require much protection.
This country is based on that, to stand up and accept what makes your blood boil.
Yeah.
And that's, you have to allow for that. If you're going to preach, the Constitution. But in this situation, it still applies. Again, the big question on this is, well, it's not a criminal inquiry. So, we're not involved in a criminal proceeding. So why should you be allowed to, apply, use that, invoke the Fifth Amendment? Well, because in this day and age, prosecutors, law enforcement, you don't have your lawyer with you, there's so many things, especially when you're dealing with monopolies and price increases and things like that of drugs, and how did you get there? I guarantee you that some time from now we'll be talking about, well, look at what came from this hearing.
Yes.
There's been some charges, and not even maybe against him, but associates, which could bleed into him. And so you can make that connection, in my opinion, and you can't be. There's no way to be too careful.
Yeah, and you and I have talked about this before. What is it? What's the old Russian saying? The communist saying, 4 felonies a day.
Yeah.
We kind of live in a culture like that today.
We do now.
If the government wants to find you did something wrong, they'll find that you did something wrong. Don't be surprised if Martin has some kind of charges brought against him that are legitimate, even if he didn't know he did something criminal.
Yeah. Or his group. And then he kind of gets sucked up into that. Yeah, I mean, the government will find something. And hey, look, we've talked about this in the past, that I've seen 20-hour interrogations. Well, we probably would admit to something.
Yeah, even something I had nothing to do with, just to get the heck out of that room.
So, they don't even let you go to the bathroom during that time. So, again, it's, it definitely, to me, it's something that applies. There's a lot of pushback on this, about the fact that it's not part of a criminal, investigation. I think that's nonsense.
Right.
I mean, we've seen all kinds of things, steroid use, everything come across the congressional committee, and lo and behold, Roger Clemens is, what they want to bring charges and things against them. So, I don't think you have to be too careful. You better have your lawyer with you.
That's exactly right. And so, and really, I mean, it does explicitly say in the Fifth Amendment criminal, but you don't know about how it could become future criminal.
Right, exactly. I mean, why does it end there?
Right. It's about personal protection is what the bottom line is.
Right, and it doesn't end there. I mean, okay, that may be one hearing, but that hearing could bleed into others and others and others, and now all of a sudden something that had nothing to do criminally, now all of a sudden it is.
Yeah,
the government's very good at that.
Yeah, and most of the audience is not going to have the opportunity to testify before Congress to say the Fifth, which I say more power to you. But let me tell you, there's always a likelihood that you're going to have to talk to someone who is in the convicting business, not in the justice business, but in the convicting business, which is really my perception of our criminal justice system. Frankly, they're interested in convictions. And so pleading the Fifth until your attorney is sitting next to you is the thing you always do. It's weird because, I want my kids to be good kids. But when my kids became 12 or 13, I said, if anything ever happens, and cops are talking to you, you say, I'm not saying a word until my dad is here. And now that they're adults, I remind them of that. But don't call me, call your attorney.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But don't say anything until you talk to an attorney.
No.
Because they're not in the justice business. They are in the conviction business, my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about statistics and convictions, and it should be about justice.
You did a great job. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeah,
Chris Corso, he's awesome. We love having him on the program. I love his content and really brilliant at what he does. CorsoLawGroup.com. I'm Kevin Price. When we come back, more for you right here on The Price of Business.